All right, everybody, Steven Butler back with another video for you. I'm getting ready to go to the Mississippi Comic-Con in Jackson, Mississippi, and I'm going through some old artwork to see what I need to take, because everybody's asking, do you have any original artwork? And I always say, no, I'm always working on stuff. But this time I actually think I am going to take some original artwork, because I keep forgetting I've got this stuff to give. Now, this one up here is not going. This one is a commission that I've done, and that's why I have it on the top, to remind me that I have to package this up and mail it to a guy who's been patiently waiting on it for a while. So anyway, I just thought that I would put this on top, because I know that Spider-Man is popular and people tend to gravitate toward him. But anyway, this is a commission that I did for a guy. The rest of this I think the rest of this is artwork that has not sold, and some of it I probably haven't even shown, but I'll just kind of briefly go over what each one of these things are, if I have time, and I'll keep a watch on the clock. This is the Badger, the first comic book character I ever worked on. This was a commission for a guy who I did like 3 pieces for, but he never paid me, and so I never sent it. So I have this drawing of the Badger available. This is another drawing of the Badger. Badger was a how can I explain him? He's a character called Norbert Sykes. He was a Vietnam veteran who had multiple personality disorder, but he was also or one of his personalities was the Badger, who was a crime-fighting environmentalist, kung fu superhero, anti-hero. I don't know what you would call him. He got into all kinds of fun adventures. So Badger was a really fun character to draw, created by the great Mike Barron, who I had the opportunity to work with when I first broke into the business, and that was quite a treat and a thrill ride for me many years ago. Even going back even farther than the Badger, this is Cat and Mouse. 2 characters that were created by my one of my best friends ever, Mitch Bird, who I met in college, who I said, hey, we ought to submit something into the comic business together and try to break in. And this is going back to the mid-'80s, guys. And Mitch said, sure, I'll come up with something. So he came up with this cat and mouse cat burglar team, and I did the inks on it. He penciled it, I inked it, a little submission kind of thing to submit around. Then we met another guy named Roland Mann, who a lot of you guys probably know that name as well. He who teamed up with us to produce an actual comic book, a full comic book. What we did before was just like a couple of pages of panel to panel continuity. This one was a full comic book that we then didn't self-publish it, but we sent it out to different companies and to publish, and it eventually got picked up by Malibu Graphics, the ones who later did the Ultraverse, and it went for I don't know how many issues, 20, 18, 20, something like that. Roland helped me out. That was, again, a long time ago. But anyway, this is from that same set. This guy commissioned it but didn't pay for it, so I still have the original art. All right, we do a weekly comic book. When I say we, it's me and several friends. Me, Lily, a friend of mine named Tommy, Brian, Andy, Michael, several other guys who all get together every week on Tuesday night to do a show called 30 Minutes of Comic Book Chaos. And it's each week we have a different theme that we're drawing, all the same. It's either the same character or the same theme of a character. And this was from when we did Doctor Who. And I do these on this cardboard paper that you can get from Hobby Lobby. It's the paper that they put in, but if you order prints from them, it's the paper that they put in between the prints to differentiate the the different prints from each other. And it works great for these paint pens that I have, these acrylic paint pens that I just have totally fallen in love with, and they've become a necessity and have become a regular part of my working my tool set. Because I use them to draw on Funko Pops action figures, because they'll literally draw on anything, but they work great for these. This was when we did a spin the wheel and create your own character kind of thing, and we'll probably do that again, because this was a lot of fun, because it just gives you prompts. The dude had wings, scales, he's snake like, and I created this kind of a dragon thing out of it. One week we did anything Willy Wonka, and I chose to do an Oompa Loompa, but I do not know why I made him look like Arnold Schwarzenegger with the "I will pump you up," but anyway, that was a lot of fun to do, and we have 30 minutes to do these in. I don't always finish in 30 minutes, but I usually finish that night after the show is over if I'm not quite done. This is the Death Dealer. Sometimes we're given each artist that's in the group is given the opportunity to say, hey, let's draw this character this week, and this was my good friend Brian LeBlanc's suggestion, because he loves anything Frazetta, loves the Death Dealer, and so that's what came out of that. This was anything Jim Henson, and I knew that everybody was going to be doing the Muppets, so I went a different route. This is from an HBO series from the 80s called The Storyteller, and this was one from, I can't remember the name of it, but it was about a guy that had a magic bag that if he said get in the bag, whatever it was he was telling it to has to jump in the bag. And he meets these devils that had this gold, devils that had taken over a castle, and they had this gold, and he had them jump in the sack, in order to get something out of them. I can't even remember, but this is what they look like from the show. These are special kind of orcs from the Lord of the Rings. We did a Lord of the Rings one, and this is the fighting Uruk-hai, the orcs that were created, the like hybrid orcs, that super orcs or whatever, that were created by the wizard Saruman in the Lord of the Rings. This one, you got to be of a certain age to remember this, but this is Schoolhouse Rock, back whenever it was a thing. We used to watch it. It came on Saturday mornings with all the cartoons, and I loved it then. I love it still, and so we had a blast doing these Schoolhouse Rock characters. Again, this is still out there, but I don't know if the characters still look like this or not. This was, everybody says, who is this guy? That's the berry, not Frankenberry. That's something completely different. The Berry Beast, was that his name? From Captain Crunch, Crunchberry Beast. That's his name, from Captain Crunch. So anyway, there's the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs guy, and the Lucky Charms. This one kind of got away from me. All right, Alley-oop. He might be something totally foreign to all of you. Even had a song about him one time. He was so popular, but hardly nobody knows who he is now. An old comic strip character called Alley-oop the Caveman, time traveling caveman. This is some of the most awesome comics ever created. If you ever get your hand, they're hard to find now. There've been some collections made, but I highly recommend it if you like. They are funny, but awesomely illustrated. And so I love everything about Alley-oop. This was, I can't remember his name, from Star Wars. We were doing a Star Wars thing, and I came up with this character. He was on Return of the Jedi. I think he was one of Jabba the Hutt's guys. Salacious Crumb, I think is his name. Little bitty guy, and he pulled out C-3PO's eyeball or eyes thing, whatever you call a robot's eye. So anyway, I don't know why I have him smoking a cigarette. He just seems like a character that would smoke a cigarette. This was Lily's time to pick what we draw, and so this is Applejack that I did for that episode. We did a Star Trek. No, it wasn't just Star Trek. This was, everybody was drawing Mr. Spock from Star Trek. First time I'd ever drawn him. Had a lot of fun with it. It made me want want to draw more Star Trek stuff because I grew up on Star Trek whenever I was a kid. Loved it. Oh boy, here we go. This is Thunder the Barbarian. And love that show. It's on Tubi now. Anybody can watch it for free. Stream it for free. Jack Kirby worked on this series. That's why a lot of the background characters and the villains and the space vehicles and all. It's a barbarian show set in the future, post-apocalyptic type of thing, and I loved it. Still do. He's got he called it the Sun Sword, but it's pretty much a lightsaber. And we did Venom one. I think this was Tommy's, because he loves Venom. I think this was Tommy's suggestion, but yeah, everybody did Venom, and I had to put all the green spit in his. I drew this guy many times. Never drew the Venom comic, but he was a guest starring in Web of Spider-Man, Silver Sable, Punisher, a little bit of everything that I ever drew in Marvel. He was part of it because that's how popular he was. I guess he still is with the movies and stuff. I don't know. I don't follow that stuff anymore, but I didn't have to. I'd drawn him so much I didn't have to use reference to draw him. This is the Vision. This was a character. I think Tommy asked me what my favorite character was, and I told him from childhood it was the Vision from the Marvel's Android character, and this is the way he looked in the comics. I know he looked a bit different in the movies, and that's how most people probably would know him if they know him at all these days. But had a lot of fun with this. We did Peanuts one, or Snoopy. It was either Peanuts or Snoopy. Sometimes we do it broad, sometimes we do it focused on one character, but I did Snoopy as Joe Cool from whichever special that was in. I can't remember. Easter special, maybe. I don't know. It was one of the Peanuts specials, and Woodstock was a lot of fun to draw as well. Then we did Cinderella, and I don't know where that. Oh, I know. That was when Tommy's wife Renee hosted the show, and her favorite character is Cinderella. So I had a lot of fun doing this. I worked for Disney Adventures magazine back in the day, and I think I drew a Cinderella comic story in that once or twice. So it's just, you just got to draw and model type of thing. A lot of fun. Phantom of the Opera. We did this one week, and I chose to go a different route than just the regular, burnt face or half mask or whatever. I did the Mask of the Red Death, which was a play inside a play that they had in the Phantom of the Opera play and movie. So a lot of fun. This was from the Lon Chaney original Phantom of the Opera silent movie from way back when, in the 20s, I guess it was that came out. But anyway, a lot of fun doing that. And again, using those same acrylic markers on this. This is a character called War Duke from Dungeons and Dragons, and I didn't know that he was as popular as he was, but obviously so. I got a lot of feedback from this episode because we all drew the character, and he's a lot of fun. I can see why he's as popular as he is. I still don't know why he has one pants leg with mail armor on it and the other. I just kind of had this running gag that he's on the look. He's on the quest to find the guy that stole half of his pants. Then we got on a classic monsters kick, and we did Dracula first, and I did something a little different. You're probably noticing a pattern here. I kind of go a different route or in my brain than the standard. I didn't draw Bela Lugosi or any of the movie versions. I went back to the novel and read the description of Dracula in the novel, and this is how I based it on. And the clothes I put on him, I just looked up 19th century Romanian nobility, and that's where these clothes came from. And I know that the description said that he had everything was black on him, completely black. There was no color on him at all. And then it described his face, and it also had a strange thing where it described his hands having hair growing out of the palms. I was like, yeah, man, you get sweaty palms? Could you imagine? Whatever. He's an undead fictional character. Why am I going on and on about it? We did the Monster of Frankenstein the week after that, and this time I had to go the Boris Karloff route, and did this on green paper, like it's like green cardstock paper that Lily had in her room. So a lot of fun with that. This one was done just last night. This is Boris Karloff again. Boris Karloff as Monster Frankenstein. Boris Karloff as the Mummy. And I just kind of had fun with this. I kind of played around with the colors and made it kind of bright, even with the pink and everything. So had a lot of fun with this. It's just fun to play, with this, and having a show like that really affords us the opportunity to do that. I better hurry. Mary Jane Watson. This was not for the show. This was me just doing. I can't remember if I did it as a commission and the guy didn't pay, or if I just did it because I wanted to. Firestorm. Again, I can't remember why I did this, but I know, because I'm losing it. I had it, but then I lost. Anyway, I did Firestorm, and he was always a character that I liked from DC in the 80s. He always seemed like he should have been a Marvel character. He was just published at DC, and he was like a Marvel character that was in a different universe, to me, anyway. Speaking of different universes, this is Captain Canuck, published by, I don't know who it's published by, is whatever Canadian company is putting out. I think there's been several that have put his adventures out, but I remember liking it. Every now and then I would see his comics on the spinner rack. They must have had some kind of distribution deal with American distributors, because I would see these as a kid on the spinner racks. But I always liked him. A really talented guy named George Freeman worked on the comics in the 80s that I really liked. So great stuff. These are a couple of like caveman, cavewoman, barbarian, something type of characters that I drew when I first got those pins, and I just wanted to try them out on this paper. So these were the actual first drawings I did on this paper, and I really liked them. And so that's what led me doing these other pieces that I've already showed you. But anyway, these characters might warrant their own storyline. I don't know. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll draw a character and then a story will form around those characters. This is a Jack Kirby style drawing of a Jack Kirby character. He was just a one-shot from first issue special, early 70s, called Manhunter. And he eventually became something else, like a race of like android robot killer things that fought the Justice League. I think they was even on an episode of the animated series, but this was the beginning of it, and this was completely different than what they did with him later. But I like the character, and I thought I'd draw. I might color it up, and might do a video on that sometime. I don't know. This is a character design for Mississippi Macabre #2. This is a character called Neshoba, a Choctaw Native American character who also happens to be a werewolf. We have issues issued. I think I've sold out of mine, but the issues are available. I should put it in the description, not the description, in the comments below, where you can get these from Jackson Comics. This is a character creation. Out of the top of my head, I created a character called Count Crimson. I like alliteration, and I like to play around. Yeah, this was based on a villain from the Invaders called Baron Blood, I think his name was. But basically I was like, what if a vampire was a superhero, or tried to be a superhero, or had to fight the urge to drink blood, or only killed the bad guys or whatever, worked with the cops who only, well, I don't know if he'd worked with the cops, but he would only, his code of honor would only let him kill the bad guys. So why I gave him the knives, I have no idea. They just seemed sometimes I just go with my gut. This was the original drawing that I did for our 30 minutes of comic book chaos that's used in the graphic at the beginning of all of our videos. And this was taken and inked by Quentin Bedwell, another good friend of mine, and colored by Lily, my daughter. And this was animated by, I think Tommy animated it. So this many hands went into this, but this was the beginning of it. Here's a sketch cover that I did. I thought that it would sell. I thought there were Nova fans out there, but obviously not. Or at least they don't like this for whatever reason, because I have not been able to sell this thing. But I like it. I thought Nova was a big. I was a big fan of Nova whenever I was a kid, and he's fun to draw still. This is the classic version of him. He's changed a lot since then. Another character that I liked as a kid, but that hardly, I doubt if even anybody would know who this guy is, Killjoy. He was a backup character in a Charlton comic, E-Man, back in the 70s. This was a thing that I was going to be developing with my late friend Mort Todd, but with his untimely passing, I still have the artwork, and I don't know if anything will ever be done with it or not. But it's something that I enjoy doing, because anything Steve Ditko did, I loved. Here's a drawing I did of Bunny Rabbit from the Sonic the Hedgehog series that I did for Archie. Just did it for fun. Might color it up and try to sell it. Buck Rogers of the 25th century. He's in public domain now. At least the first 2 or 3 years worth of his strip is. And back in the day, they used to call anything that was science fiction related, or even any kind of technological advance, they would call it that crazy Buck Rogers stuff. And now I wonder how many people would even know who Buck Rogers is. Even people that might. There was that TV series with Gil Gerard back in the late 70s, early 80s. I don't even know if anybody would remember that. I'm making myself out to be really old, which I guess I am. Jenny Dare was an update of a character called Flying Jenny, created by, oh Lord, what is his name? I can't remember. He was from Mississippi. He was from Corinth, Mississippi, who created the Jenny Dare. He worked on Buck Rogers. That's why this was close to that other one. He worked on the Buck Rogers strip. The more I'm talking, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember his Keaton. Russell Keaton. I did it. Russell Keaton created a character called Flying Jenny, who was like a female aviator, and we just updated her. Her name was Jenny Dare, and I'm like, that sounds like a cool. I mean, she's in the public domain as well, and so created this kind of a Indiana Jones, except going through different like dimension portals and stuff, and lives in this cool in this cool castle on a private island. Anyway, there's so much cool stuff to explore. This is one of them. This is something I don't think I've ever showed anybody. I remember when the Russia-Ukraine war first started, I drew this. This just came, and because I remember seeing all of these talk of these like people, the people arming themselves, to repel the attack. And so I found this picture of a girl with flowers in her hair, and I gave her the gun. I don't know. It was a powerful image, but my wife said, don't publish that, Steve. My wife was wise. She was wise beyond her years. This is a character that I'm developing with my son, and for a manga that we plan on doing. So enough said about that. I'll talk more about that later. This is the Jaguar from Archie / MLJ Comics. This is a character, and I cannot remember the name. It's Spring Hill Jack, but Devil Jack, maybe? Anyway, my friend Evan Queering created him, and this was a piece that I did for him for his comic. This is a character that I created a long time ago called, I originally called him Shadowhawk. Well, can't call him that now. and so I changed his name to Thunderhawk, and he's a character that I want to develop a lot more. But finding time in the day is the issue. The character called the Hangman from another Archie character. In fact, both of these are Archie characters. These were brothers, Dickering, Bob, and I don't know I can't remember the other one's name, but they were the Dickering brothers. This one is the Comet. He came out first, but he was murdered. He was the first superhero to ever be murdered in a comic. His brother took over the crime fighting, part of the family, but he became the Hangman, and he was kind of like the Punisher of the Golden Age. This is a character, a mascot for a convention called Terrificon in Mohegan Sun. So and I think that's going on in just like next weekend maybe. I can't remember, but I did this last year for a guy named Mitch, who runs the place. And last but not least, here's a drawing that I did of my good buddy Lloyd Smith's Blue Moon Comics group. Character U.S. Flag, originally created by Donnie Page, who passed away, and the mantle of the character has been inherited by my good friend Lloyd, who is publishing stories by Donnie and new stories by other very talented creators in the Blue Moon Comics comic called Diversions. Lloyd used to have a blog post called Diversions of the Groovy Kind, and that's how I met him. And we've been like, he's probably my best friend that I have that I've never met before. But anyway, guys, this is I have like totally went over my time. This is probably the longest video that I've ever done, but a lot of stuff that I wanted to show you. And I hope you enjoyed what you see. I'm going to be taking a lot of this stuff to Mississippi Comic-Con to see if I can sell any of it. If not, I'll just hang on to it until I actually do find some. I'm sure eventually, somewhere down the line, somebody will sell it, or my kids will inherit it after I have shed this mortal coil. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you guys soon at a show somewhere. And I will go ahead and sign off, and I will be talking to you with another video very soon. Talk to you later. Bye.